Are you a drummer? No? Well, neither am I. And the good news for us is that GarageBand makes it super simple to create realistic drum sounds using the virtual drummer built right into GarageBand. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a drum track from scratch using the drummer. Let's go. Hi, my name is Pete and this is Studio Live Today, where I help you create, record and release your best music. And I'm actually right in the middle of the mixing process of my latest song, so I'm about to release some music. But the problem is the drum track that I've been using as my base for tracking and mixing, I just don't like it. So I'm going to scrap that, start from scratch, and I thought I would bring you along for the ride. So if you want to see my end-to-end creation process for a drummer track in GarageBand on my iPhone, then hang around. This is going to be a longer video, so if you just want to know the basics of using Drummer, there will be a link up there right now, which will take you to my quick tip tutorial all about Drummer. But if you want to see the full process, then hang around. Let's dive in to GarageBand right now. And here is the GarageBand track in question. This is my song 6 and 8. If you haven't been following along, you can catch up on the whole songwriting series, and I'll link that up the top and down in the description right now. But at the moment, the drum track that we have is a very default track here with Kyle, our default virtual drummer here. I haven't done a lot of tweaking on these drums apart from setting all the different sections, which I am going to do again because I'm still not 100% happy with that. Let's just play the start of this song at the moment and you'll hear what our drums are like right now. So not terrible by any stretch, but I'm just not loving it. And whenever I come in here and I go to my drummer and I start trying to tweak it, I'm just not liking what I get out of it. And I just want to start from scratch. Sometimes you can tweak things and you can make things better. And I do recommend that. Don't always start from scratch, especially with mixing, which we'll get to in the next video. But when you're looking at something like this, where you're just not satisfied, sometimes scrapping it, starting from scratch is a good way to go. So I'm going to go ahead and tap and delete this drum track. And I'm going to add a new drummer by coming down the bottom here, tapping the plus button, tapping on drummer, and now we can actually set up our new drummer. But the problem here is that it has filled up our entire track. So if we come back to our track view, we can see here down the bottom now that we have Darcy on drums, and yeah, it's filled up my entire track there. So the first thing that I do with a drum track like this is tap outside of it, drag over all of it like so, tap somewhere in there, tap again and hit delete. And now I've only got the one little drum track there that we have. Now I also want this drum track to be right up the top. So I'm going to tap and drag this all the way back up to the top because I like my drums to be at the top of my tracks. Don't ask me why, it's just the way I always work. So mostly so that I can see my bass here, which is what my drums will be sinking into the most, and I can see all of my other instruments here as well, my piano, clarinet, guitars, and all of my vocal tracks. So now we are ready to go and we'll dive in and create an entire drum track using Drummer. Okay, now the thing that I probably should have mentioned first and that I should have done is made a backup copy of my track before I started doing all of this. But you know what? We're just going to go with it because no turning back, right? Let's just, whatever we come up with here is what we're going to be using. So the first thing we need to do is work out our intro. So the intro is just going to be half a bar here. So it's going to just go from here to here. So we need to drag back. We're going to tap on this track here and we're going to tap and drag all the way back and just make this a half a bar by dragging again right to there, and then we're going to drag this into our front section. So we've got a 1 bar part here and then we've got Darcy playing this half a bar. Let's hit play. So that's a pretty boring little intro there, Darcy. We'll fix that in a moment. Oh, and by the way, the drummer that I've decided to use here is Darcy. We'll tap on our drummer icon up the top left there. To change our drummer, we tap in the top left here and we tap on the name Darcy here, and we can select from all of our acoustic drummers that we have here. So we've got rock, songwriter and alternative, we've got electronic and we've got percussion. The reason I'm going with Darcy, originally I had Kyle, but I'll go with Darcy because it's tasteful, restrained and dedicated to serving the song. Darcy plays simple, tasteful pop beats on a natural sounding kit, and that's what we want for this particular track. It's in 6 and 8, it's called 6 and 8, it's in 6/8 time, and we just want a very sort of laid back kind of beat behind this song. So that's why we've picked Darcy here to play this. Now, what we need to do we're going to go in and customize this first section. Now, we want this to start with something a little bit interesting. So what we'll do is we'll up the fills here, and you can see that when we adjust the fills, it changes what's actually here in this section. If we like drop that back down again, it makes it really simple. We bring it up, it makes it a really sort of complex sort of fill. The other thing that I do here is I don't ever have my drummers playing up here in the loud section. I always have them just over halfway. The reason is if we have them loud, when we hit the snare in particular, it creates a very sort of compressed sound, and that can really wreak havoc on your tracks. It can really sound too punchy and over limiting, which doesn't sound good at the end. It can do some pumping and really sort of affect your other tracks. So I recommend having your loudness around about the halfway mark, but I'll show you the difference here. Let's just pump it all the way up and play this little intro opening here. So you can hear that first snare beat there. And look, if you're doing a really heavy track and you want that, then great, that's not what this track's all about. So we're going to drop it down, drop the loudness down. Again, it will change that sort of feel every time we do it, but let's hit play and see what this sounds like. Okay, I don't really like that, so we'll just shift it a bit. And yes, using the drummer is a lot of trial and error here, you'll find. That one's not bad, the do-do-do-do-do. Let's go a little bit more complex, see what we get now. Now, so we want them to go to different parts of the kit here. So we'll just adjust a little bit. And you might be thinking, Pete, you could program this in yourself. Yeah, I could, but it would take a lot longer than just a little bit of tweaking here that we do. So let's try this one. Yeah, I like that. So we've got the tom drum, the all right, so we're going to go with that for now with Darcy on that intro. We now want to add in our next section. Now, what I tend to do is go to my original section here, tap it, do copy, and then tap in the next part and go paste, so that we're using this as sort of a template as we go through. Rather than starting again from scratch, we can use this as a bit of a base for the next section we do. Now, I'm going to drag this out actually to there because I happen to know that this last bar is kind of an extended part. So what I want in this section is a very basic, won't move that, is a very basic sort of beat. So we probably don't want it to be as complex, and we definitely don't want the fills. So let's just leave it with this current level of complexity and with no fills, and we'll see what it sounds like just transitioning from this intro to our first part. Okay, so, sorry, I should have put this to here because I realized that we didn't start at bar 1. So, yeah, so that's actually 8 bars there. So 2 through to 10 there is our section that we want. And then this last one is our last part. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap again, we're going to go copy, and then we're going to paste into this next section, grab our end part here, drag it on back, and this is going to be our little fill. So this is where we do want the fills to come back in. And we'll just randomly see what sort of fills this gives us. Sorry, I keep hitting the mixer button there. Let's jump from this back into our fill. Okay, I don't love that fill, so let's just try something a bit different. We'll just bring the complexity down a bit and try again. No, don't like that either. What if we go higher in the complexity? That's getting closer to what we sort of want. Let's try another one. No, I don't want it like that. Let's just pump the fills right up and make it super filly and see what this sounds like. That's close to what we want. One more time. How about this one? Let's go with that for now. I'm not going to make you watch me trial a whole bunch of them. I may need some tweaking after this video because I don't want it to be an hour long of me making decisions. So we've now got that. We'll then copy our original section here and paste it back in here. Tap and paste. Now I want something fairly similar, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to throw on my follow button here. So if we tap follow down in the bottom right here, and I'm going to follow my bass track because drums following bass just makes sense. It makes it sound good. So let's just play along with this section here now and see what it sounds like just transitioning and going into our first verse.
son, you'd better dance while you...
Yeah, I really like that. I like that. I like the double kick drum, bass drum there sound that we have going into that. And what we'll do, we'll need to actually up the number of fills on this just so that it gives us a little bit of a fill, because we've got a very basic sound there. We'll up that, and what we can do is we can actually double the length of this one, because this goes for 16 bars before we go into our pre-chorus section. So let's just sort of play from the middle section, see what sort of fill it gives us here in the middle, and see if it all sounds nice with this track.
But I
don't really like that fill. We'll just increase it a little bit and see what this sounds like.
didn't have the talent, but I would
Yeah, I like that. Just a little sort of simple sort of sound there. And what about when we come in through here?
trouble. So she...
Yeah, I actually really like that. All right, let's do our same thing again. We're going to tap, we're going to copy, and we're going to paste this into our next section. Tap, tap again, paste. So here is our next section. But again, we're going to need to adjust this because this is only 8 bars. And this is our pre-chorus, so we'll leave it as is and see what it sounds like. We may need to move it around a little bit here.
So she dragged me away.
Yeah, what I might like to do is actually bring it up onto the ride cymbal for this. So we just tap on the cymbals here in the middle. So you can see there we can have it either on the hi-hat, which is down here, or we can tap up here to bring it up on the cymbals. Let's see what it sounds like here on the cymbals.
So she dragged me away, all the while trying to say, son, they'll be... after time.
Yeah, I actually really like that. So we're going to go with that for the time being. And now we're just going to copy the bit before here, because this is going to be our first chorus. So we're going to tap, tap again and paste. And we need to, again, reduce this back. So there's a little bit of fiddling here. You'll see, you'll be like, Pete, why are you spending time doing all of this? Well, it's still a lot quicker than programming in these drums myself, because I'm not a drummer and I don't really understand how to program drums as effectively as the AI here in the virtual drummer. So let's take a listen into our chorus here and see. What we'll probably want to do is bring up the complexity of this just to give a bit of variety in the beat here. So let's play the transition.
You better start dancing. Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time.
Okay, what I need to do is actually extend this out because we only want, let's just hear this.
Now.
Yeah, there we go. So this part here.
Now.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that. I'm going to leave that as it is for now. Whoop, don't move it. It's very easy to move the sections when you don't mean to. So this is actually at 9 bars, and you can see there it crosses over the section, but we've left it in there because what it's going to do is it's only going to put the fill in there in that sort of last bar. So it's quite smart like that, that even though we've got 9 bars here, it knows that it only wants to put the fill in that last bar before we come into our next part here. Now, this is where it gets a bit easier, because what we can do is we can come right back to the start and we can use our original verse here for our second time around. So we're going to tap, we're going to copy, we're going to tap, and we're going to paste in here. But as I always say, we want some variety. We want something a little bit different here in our second verse. So let's play this and then we'll play with it a little bit and see if we can just add in something a little bit different for this second verse.
Now I found a reason I should dance, and there would be romance.
Okay, I still really like this as the basis, but let's play around. Maybe we bring a tambourine or a shaker. So the beauty part of the drummer is that we can actually add in tambourine, shaker, or hand claps in here. And to hear what these exactly sound like, I'm going to come to my mixer and solo this so that we can actually hear it properly. So let's just come back to here. So I like that sort of sound in there. If we want to hear exactly what it's doing there, we can turn off everything else and just listen to what it's doing with this tambourine. So at percussion level 1, it's just doing there. If we drop this up to number 2, I actually really like that. So let's turn back on the rest of our drums and take a listen to this with our tambourine doing that ch 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 ch. I think that's going to sound really good. Better than me making that noise. Let's have a listen now with it unsoloed.
Time. Now I found a reason I should dance, and there would be romance around the corner.
Yeah, I like that. So again, it was just adding that additional variety than what we had the first time around. So now we can come back to our pre-chorus and do the same thing. We're going to copy this and we're going to bring it across, put it onto our next section and paste it in there. And let's check our transition here again between these two.
Working, mortgage and kids.
And maybe we keep that same percussion here, level 2, with this pre-chorus.
Wouldn't change it for quids. Home.
So it's just very subtle, but it just adds a little bit of something different. Now, chorus time. So we'll grab our chorus section here, copy that one, paste it in here, tap, tap, paste, and let's check out our transition again.
Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see.
I think I want this one to actually be up here on the cymbals, but let's just solo it so we can make sure we find the right sort of feel for this. So maybe not that one. Let's try number 2. Yeah, I think that's what we have for our second chorus. Let's check this transition again.
Time after time we are standing in line and we're I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time.
Okay, so this is an interesting section because this is where we go into our a cappella section. So we need to be very careful with how we actually transition this part here. We may need to do a little bit of extra updating and fiddling here to get this sounding right. So what we really want is we want this to just sort of have one beat past the end here and put something there, so some sort of crash cymbal probably or something, just to go into our a cappella section. So I've extended there. Let's just take a listen. Sometimes you can do it this way, sometimes you need to add a separate section. Let's take a listen.
6 and 8 time. Now we're all.
That's pretty good. I'm going to go with that for now. Now, we could play around with that and try and get a better sound or a different feel. You've seen me do that. You don't need to see me do that again. So this is why Drummer is so powerful, that we can come in here, we can zoom all the way in, and it doesn't have to be right on that actual grid. So that means that we can overlap like this and just have that one final hit that makes it sound good like that.
Now we're older time.
And we get that nice reverberant crash cymbal over the top of our a cappella section. So, a cappella section means no drums, so that means that we can relax for a little while. But when our drums come back in, we need to make sure that they come back in at the right time and that they sound good. So I think that is halfway. I think that's around about here. Let's just check.
But I know.
Yep, so we kind of just want it to come right back in on this number, and it's going to be like the second half of a verse section. So we're going to come back and grab our verse, we're going to tap, we're going to copy, and then we're going to tap and we're going to paste in here, and it's only going to go up to here. And now we can come in and take a listen to this.
But I know one thing that will never fade.
Yep, so I like the tambourine there. Let's just see, maybe this is better up on the cymbals for this section. Let's take a listen.
But I know one thing that will never fade.
Let's try this a little bit more complex. Yeah, I think that's actually going to work better in the mix. Let's try it.
But I know one thing that will never fade. The memories we made will last forever. And
Yep, I really like that. So now we go back to a pre-chorus part, which again, we need to find our last pre-chorus section, which I think was here, was it?
working more.
Yes, it was. So we'll tap it, we'll tap again, and we'll copy. So you can see here that when you've got sort of a verse-chorus kind of structure, yeah, you have to spend a bit of time getting this stuff right, but you can borrow from previous sections, even if we're going to change it up a little bit, which we'll continue to do here. So let's just sort of up the complexity and see if we get a little bit of a different sound here. So we'll listen to our transition again.
And my mother was right.
Okay, that sounded good, but I didn't like any of those fills there. So let's just change this up. We'll drop the fills down a little bit, and we'll take a listen to that again.
And my mother was right, and to my delight, now I can pass on her words to the next generation. Time after
Yeah, really like that. So we only want that fill in that last bar there, which it has done. Now we can just bring it on home. We've got our final choruses here. So this is where everything is going to be pretty big, and that includes our drums. So let's find our last chorus.
time after time we are standing in line.
And it's this one. So we're going to tap it. We're going to copy. Let's bring it down here to the end. We'll tap. We'll paste it in here. Now this is kind of a double chorus, but we'll probably use it in two sections. So let's just do it one by one. We're going to, let's just go a bit nuts here. We'll increase our fills up. I think we want our tambourine. I think we want it up on the cymbals, and we want it on cymbal too. Let's just listen to it soloed first. So I was just auditioning actual cymbal number 3 here, so let's just see if that actually fits this song.
I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in sync.
Yeah, I think that might be what we go with in this one. So we've got we're up on our cymbals here, we've got lots of fills going on, we've got our follow on our bass, and we've got cymbal number 3 here. So I think that's actually sounding pretty good. Let's copy this again and paste it in for our sort of repeated second double chorus here, and let's just play this all the way through and see what it sounds like.
Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Time after time we are...
Oh, we've got that completely wrong there, so we need to adjust this, because this needs to come, this one needs to come back to here. We've got it too long. We're just going to delete this one for now. Let's just make sure we've got this in the right spot now.
Time after time.
Yep, that's better. But what we actually want here, I'm going to do something a bit different. What we want is we don't want that middle fill there. So I'm going to split this in the middle here, so that in the first section we can actually drop the fills to none, and in the second section we can increase the fills. So this is a way that we can split it up and kind of trick it into saying this bit needs to be plain with no fills, and this bit needs to fill but just at the end there. So let's listen to this whole first section of the chorus now.
Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Time after time.
Yep, that's cool. So we like that. Maybe even just try higher fill velocity and see what the end sounds like.
6 and 8 time. Time after time.
Yeah, no, I like the other one. Let's go back.
Dancing in 6 and 8 time. Time after.
Yep. So I like that. Well, I've pressed the back button, which has taken us all the way back. So we're gonna have to come back to where we were, which is up here. And now we can grab the first section again. In fact, let's grab this one, copy this next bit, because what we're going to do this time around, we're going to paste it in here, and we want it to go all the way through and to just kind of go nuts here. So I like the percussion there, the tambourine, we've got the cymbals, we've got the bass and the snare, we were up here on the cymbals, and we're going to just max out the fills. Let's just see if we can bring it home strong here.
Time after time we are standing in line and we're making I'm happy to see.
Yeah, okay, so that's a bit too intense. Let's drop that down a little bit here. Try again.
Time after time we are standing in line and we're making to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Yes, we're dancing in.
Okay, now because this part here at the end, we kind of need to do a reverse here. So I like having the fill in the middle there, but what we need to do is split this bit out, tap, split, split it, and then what we're going to do is make this part have no fills, drop the fills down, and then this sort of last section here, we're going to tap, we're going to copy, we're going to tap again, and we're going to paste, and we're going to bring it on home here with just a whole bunch of fills at the end. That probably seemed really confusing, but especially when I do things like that and that. Hit undo. Undo is your friend. All right, so let's tap in here. I'm not even following that now, so I don't know how you would be, but let's just play this part and see where we're up to.
Yes, we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. We're dancing in 6 and 8 time. We're dancing in.
Okay, that actually worked. So yeah, what we wanted there is that to be no fills, that to have all the fills. Now let's bring it home strong in this last section. We'll tap there, we'll hit paste, and then we'll just find where the last hit needs to be here. Let's just increase these fills up. Let's listen to our ending.
We're dancing in 6 and 8 time.
So our ending needs to hit on this after 124 here. We need to bring this back and it to be just there with one final hit. So let's see if we can make this sound nice here.
We're dancing in 6 and 8 time.
There we go. So yes, that was a little bit messier than I would have liked to have shown you, but you can see, hopefully, the power that we have here in the drummer. So we have now got our full drummer there. We can come in here and quite easily customize these by just tapping and tapping on our drummer and actually looking at that. As I mentioned at the start of the video, we've got other drummer videos that are a lot more basic and simple, but I know that there's some folks who wanted to see the end-to-end process that I follow. So that is what this has been. Thank you for bearing with me. What I'm going to do now is we'll close by playing the full version in stereo of this song as it is now with these new drums added. So this is the latest version, the mix of 6 and 8.
Mother told me, son, you'd better dance while you've got the chance and have the talent. But I would rather sit and play with toys and hang out with the boys and start some trouble. So she dragged me away, all the while trying to say, son, there'll be time for all that, you better start dancing. Time after time we are standing in line and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Now I found a reason I should dance, and there would be romance around the corner. 10 years later we would be as one. different kind of fun, but one that's lasting. Working, mortgage and kids, wouldn't change it for quids. Only wish there was more time to go dancing. Time after time we are standing in line, and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me, and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Now we're older, time is moving on, like a distant song you don't remember. But I know one thing that will never fade. The memories we made will last forever. And my mother was right, and to my delight, now I can pass on her words to the next generation. Time after time we are standing in line, and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me, and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Time after time we are standing in line, and we're making the most of each rhyme. I'm happy to see that you're waltzing with me, and we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. Yes, we're dancing in 6 and 8 time. We're dancing in 6 and 8 time. We're dancing in 6 and 8 time.
So there you go. I think that we've improved upon this drum track by taking it that one chunk at a time and really focusing in. But it also hasn't taken us that long at all to do this, thanks to the magic of the virtual drummer here in GarageBand. Thanks for watching. If you've got comments, questions, or suggestions about this or anything else related to recording, creating, and releasing your music, then drop that in the comments down below, and I'll see you on the next video. Hey, thanks for sticking around. If you'd like to check out some more videos, there are 2 playlists linked right down below. You can also subscribe by clicking or tapping on the Studio Live Today icon in the top right corner, or head on over to studiolivetoday.com for even more audio goodness.